Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Chaos Zero Nightmare, and as we have Yuki coming to the game, the most commonly asked question any creator is going to get is this character a must pull? Should I pull them? What is the go? And so we're going to discuss that a little bit in this video. Now, first of all, for some people, there will be two big reasons on why you will be pulling her regardless of anything anyone says. So to you guys, congratulations. For others, there may be two other reasons why you may want to skip her and instead save your summons. And for everyone else, that is what we're going to discuss for the rest of this video. With this stuff though, just keep in mind, this game is definitely one where the meta, yeah, there's always going to be a bit of a meta, but I think enjoying the character is always going to be a main thing. Also, we don't have her full kit. We haven't done testing, so this is complete speculation. Take it with a grain of salt. The first thing that I am going to say to anyone is, especially if you're free to play, if you're a whale, you're going to pull anyway, who cares? If you're free to play like myself, I always like to wait, see the character, especially in this game, see how they play, if I'm going to enjoy that play style, and then also see how strong they are across the board before I go ahead and pull. I will have videos because I've got, luckily, a bunch of friends who will be pulling regardless because of two very good reasons. So I will be doing some testing and I will get you guys that info. But as a pre-release thought process, I want to go through some general thoughts I have about it. But once again, I highly recommend waiting until a couple days after she's out to see how it goes, because it's not just her kit we need to see the rest of. There's several other things we need to see how pan out in the season. First of all, this one with the boss. So we're going to get this as the first boss, and then we're going to have the void boss. Now, this guy, he's the one that summons the little ads. So AoE is going to be a big thing in this one. However, I don't know whether she's going to be the best in here. Like, I'm thinking like a Maylin Veronica team with Veronica on the giant ballista may be enough. The other thing is, we don't know how this boss is going to scale in difficulty because they said there's going to be added factors that continually make the boss harder. So we've got to see how this kind of stuff works if you are working around the meta slave type aspect. But in general, the one thing I will say about her, because she is designed to be an AoE specialist, she gets positive points on reasons to pull if you don't have any AoE characters that are really filling that void. Now, another thing to consider is, are you going to pick up Khalip if you don't already have her from your selector? Kind of like myself, I'm leaning into Khalip for my selector. I will have a whole selector video out a bit closer to when free-to-plays can get there, because most free-to-plays are probably 50 pulls away. But, you know, because AoE coverage is something that's just really nice in this game. It is kind of frustrating having no AoE on your account. And so that would be a really strong reason to go ahead and just get a copy of her so that you can have some strong AoE damage. But let's go ahead and talk a little bit about her kit. We do have these cards that we've seen, all the base cards. We've got some epiphanies to look at as well, which we can have a little chat about. But honestly, I do really like the look of her playstyle. I think she is a really cool character. I like the way they are building every character very unique. So she has this inspiration effect, which when one of the cards gets added to her hand from an ability, that's where she will get the inspiration effect on the card. She also has other ways to apply the inspiration. Now, we got to see how exactly this works. For instance, if I use a draw two card, like if I use a Kowalski from my Veronica and draw two cards and it draws into one of those, is that it being considered added to hand by an ability, or is that being considered drawn to the hand? Like, I don't know, because there's all those syntax errors. I kind of want to wait and see some of these mechanical systems on the way she will work. But I think generally, as they mentioned in the video, you've got Nia and you've got Cassius, who are going to be great partners for her because of their a way to manipulate cards into your hand, discard them, put them back on top, activate them from the top, all that kind of stuff. So I think she is going to be very good in that aspect. But the one thing that gives me a lot of promise, also, once again, maybe we do this now, because if you haven't seen her animations, I think these are a pretty good thing just to look at anyway, so you get a feel for the animations. Because that's always a fun part of these games. Like, you got to enjoy looking at character, you got to enjoy the play style, and then, you know, the meta viability in this game, to me, honestly, comes probably last along the line. So that's her upgrade. This skill looks sick. Dude, I love that one. That is so damn cool. And then we got the final one here, the ultimate. Dude, they do these ultimates so damn well. So that is a look at the general skills, because, hey, that is something else you've got to enjoy. But once again, I think the inspiration effect is something really fun to play around. I also like the way when we look at some of these epiphanies, like, I'm a big fan of sort of decks that are very AP efficient and feel like you can do a lot with them, and there's a lot of combos you can do. And I do feel like, especially when you start pairing her with the right supports, there will be good combos and some nice AP efficiency. If we look at this one here specifically, 180% damage to all enemies, inspiration, it makes it cost -2, so it makes it a free cast. Really damn nice. This one has more damage, but only a cost -1. As we go over here, inspiration gets it 1 extra hit, so it becomes double the damage of this one. I don't know if I like that trade-off personally. Depending on the buffs you have and stuff like that. Then we have another one, which is a retain, and it gets 320% damage for a cost of 2, but you get 60% damage for each owned card, I think it's meant to be owned, not owned, card drawn for 1 turn. So in that turn, if you do have a lot of draw power, drawing her cards is the way I understand it. Once again, translations are always a bit of an issue. Because it would have to be hers, not owned, because like owned could be your entire deck. Anyway, I digress. Max of 3. So this can get you some extra damage. Then we have this one, which is Flash Slash. 300% damage to all enemies when used, cost -1. So the way I read that card is that you have to have 3 AP to use it, but once you activate it, it only costs 2. That is how I would read it. The other thing is, you got some little synergies in there with anything that ends up having the Celestial or Heaven, they call it now, tag, to be able to activate that stuff if you do want to play it at a high cost. I don't think that'll be her best synergies, but it is something that you can play around with. But me personally, I really like this Flash Slash. The idea of getting it down to 0 cost really does excite me. This one over here, I like anything like this where it's, once again, AP efficient, and it'll let you manipulate your own cards and stuff like that. Like this one here, draw 2 own attack cards for 1 turn, -20% damage amount on that card. Makes sense. You're essentially getting 2 free cards with, I'm assuming this will activate the inspiration effect. So you're getting 2 of your cards out of your deck with inspiration on them, and they are going to be the attack cards. So kind of like this. So you basically just get this straight out, and it's just a free cost. So for free, you've searched yourself out a free attack card, which is pretty damn nice. Now, if you get another one, once again, all these inspiration, we need to see the other epiphanies on them to see exactly how they're going to work. This one here, Trickery Strike, it's got a retain, deal 150 damage, activate inspiration to 1 random card in hand. This one also gets me excited to go ahead and see the epiphanies. I could see epiphanies on this maybe being activate inspiration on 2 cards, or maybe it's a 0 cost and it has the same effect. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on some of these ones. But in general, the thing that gets me excited for her is the way you can actually combo off with the right supports and play some really fun strategies with her based on what we're already seeing so far. Now, once again, we don't know all the cards yet. And you've really got to get the cards, and with this game, it's a card game. Comboing is going to be a big thing, and there's going to be a ton of people testing and coming up with ideas that like I can't even have in my head right now, especially once we see all the rest of the epiphanies. But for me personally, I think she is going to be a really solid pickup. We saw with Haru at the start of the game that Haru wasn't really like a big power creep or anything like that. Like she was like a solid character, but she's not like really kind of taking over the game. So honestly, I'm gonna be real. I feel like Yuki feels like more of what should have been a launch banner, because she feels really impactful. She's that AoE, which the game is really kind of lacking at the moment. So I think she would be a great launch banner, but we did have Haru, but Yuki is going to be a big one. Like I said, it depends on what you have on your account. If we go to my account and take a look at what I actually have here, you can see like, I've already, the one problem for me is like I'm Hugo, that's my guy, and he is Order, so I'd be picking up another Order, but it would be for AoE coverage. But then the other thing is when we look through what let's actually go to collection here to have a look what I'm missing. So I really want to get Khalib from my selector, but I'm also missing Mei Lin, so that's where I'm like sort of tossing up. Maybe if I decide against Khalib and I pick up Mei Lin, and then I get my AoE damage through picking up Yuki, that could be an option as well. But once again, I think she is going to fit in really well to the game. I think the combo potential she has, based on what we've seen so far with her kit, is really damn nice. I feel like she's going to have some really solid AoE damage potential. Probably, if I had to guess, she will be the strongest AoE damage in the game when she comes out. Once again, we need to see more and test more to know that for sure. But already just from the epiphanies that we've seen, I'm really liking the look of some of the combos that she has potential to. Her animations look sick. Her general playstyle, I think, is fun and enticing. And the one thing I like is it does look like you can play the more expensive style if you want to, or you can play the cheaper style, which leads you into two ways of playing and two types of synergies that you can go for. So should you pull her? Once again, I am not going to say yes or no. The general reasons you would pull her are those. The general reasons you might save is because of these two coming up. And, you know, we are like swimming in resources at the moment in the game. If we go over to rescue on my account, free to play, you know, I got 58. I did put 20 pulls in and hit the Haru, so I got no pity built up. And so I use all these, and then I've got the gems. You know, we do have a fair few resources at the moment, but it does feel like it's drying up. The other thing we have to see is we know that we're going to get extra pulls from login events during the season. We're going to get extra pulls from the shop, but how much will the other steady income be that we can get of these pulls, and how reliably are we going to be able to get characters when they're coming out one every 3 weeks, considering you've got 140 pulls to go ahead and reliably get them. So those are all the things you got to weigh up. So if you are really loving the look of one of these characters, well, it might be worth the skip just to wait and see. But once again, on the meta standpoint, it's going to be a case of wait and see how all these game modes work and how impactful she actually is in them before you try and slave and pull on the meta. But my recommendation is always to see the character, see how they play. And in this game, because it is a card game, it's all about the decks. It's all about having fun in the playstyle that you have, because let's face it, this game, you spend so much time playing the game without even worrying about progress. So, you know, if you're doing endless chaos runs, you know, new season, we've got a new world of chaos. Well, you probably want to be doing it with something that you really enjoy playing. So that is what I would wait and see. I will update you guys once she is out and I've done some testing. I'll be doing pulls on friends' accounts when she does drop. And then I will be doing a bunch of testing. We'll probably do some live testing as well on my friends' accounts so we can get an idea and decide if she is something that I want to pull for personally, whether I think her playstyle is enjoyable enough, what kind of combos I think I can do with her. And then obviously we'll see how strong she is doing in the season, but they will have those leaderboards, so we should be able to get a good idea early on. But just keep in mind, as always with things in this game, it evolves. People finally find new strategies. Maybe they finally get the deck that works, and then you can make some cracked stuff happen. So at the end of the day, don't worry about meta as much and pull for what you enjoy. But I will update you guys on everything I find with her as it goes. But that pretty much sums up everything, guys. Let me know. Are you going to pull her? Are you going to skip? Or are you waiting to see? As always, thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers.